What's up guys, Eman Games here with Niko Schlierkamp, who just got second place at the Karlsruhe Regional with a special Thunder Dragon list. So tell us about your deck.
So we are 281 players. I played against 1 Salaman, 1 Cubic, 1 Pendulum and 6 Orcus. So I went 8-1, I lost to 1 Cyber Dragon Orcus because he had Order Game 2, yeah, that's it, and Lancia Game 3 with 4 combo and I break. So yeah, that's the only match I lost. I rarely lost games in general. Yeah.
So let's just go into the profile.
Right. Yeah, I'm playing like I'm blinding second. I'm not playing like Striker Orcus because I don't like Orcus, and I think this deck is like beat Striker Orcus while Striker Orcus Mirror is just stupid, and you just hope to draw Lancia and your opponent doesn't. Yeah. So for the Thunders, 3 of those, 3 Hawk. I usually wouldn't play 3 in pure versions, but you have to play it in this version because it's much easier to fill your graveyard and just for consistency. 1 do. I play other chaos monsters, so you don't need more than 1 because the others are just better. You just need this to search sometimes. Then 3 Solar, no Lupin. Usually I hate Solar in Thunder Dragons, and Lupin is pretty insane. But in this deck, you want to fill your graveyard for Livianir and all the other cards, and you actually want the tokens so you can OTK like more easily. Yeah, and also it's just a Thunder monster. Yeah, came up pretty often in general. While Lupin was pretty dead in my testing mainly because I'm also not playing Matrix because you don't need it because you don't need the pop for the follow-up turn. You just want to kill him like instantly, or just end on Appaloosa with Anchor Take or something. Yeah, so no Lupins. And 2 Levianir with 1 Diablos together with 3 Melodies. Yeah, you don't need 3 Levianir. You don't want to draw this. Mostly want to draw this because it unbreaks your hands because it discards your Thunders. It gives you spells for engage. And yeah, so 3 isn't necessary. You could think about playing the prize card, but I didn't have one, and it's not that necessary, I think. And Diablos is pretty good just to grind against decks, and it's just more damage, and it's easier to go to rank 8s and climb links. Yeah. Then 3 Phantasmayas, that's the only hand trap I'm playing because I think in the current format you should play like 0 hand traps or a lot like 10 plus. Because like 1 hand trap isn't enough to stop your opponent anyway. So you have to open multiples, and even then you have your opponent may have interruptions on their own hand traps. So I don't like playing a deck with hand traps, like with a lot of hand traps. Because you have to open like insanely good engine hand plus a lot of hand traps and hope your opponent doesn't play through your hand traps. So only 3 Phantasma for consistency, and it's great to drop it on IP because it's 1 more. You can just, for example, normal some Solar and declare end of main phase. He has to use IP here, or you just kill it. You can't do it with only Phantasma because he will just revive the gears to attach Skeleton and protect the IP. But yeah, it's also like only dead, like really dead against the Guru and everything. And the Mirror, this deck sucks in the Mirror game 1 anyway, but nobody's playing Pure Thunders, so it's fine. And against Rogue you should win like almost every game because of Livianir, Strikers, etc. That's for the monsters. 22 monsters, 18 spells I think. 3 yellow obviously. Goldsuck, Upstart, 1 Thunder Ring Fusion. You don't need multiples because you don't want to hard rod this. You search it when it's necessary. Because you're not really grinding. You're just killing your opponent. Like that's the plan at least. Or you end on a really strong board after clearing all that stuff. So multiple fusions never came up, and I didn't miss it. I didn't miss it at all. Like especially Titan is isn't that strong in this deck because you don't play Matrix, so you don't have interruptions to your opponent's turn anyway. So I mostly use this for like to get another spell engrave or to just recycle resources and get a follow up for next turn. I discarded it a lot with Nightmares too. Then 3 Mind Control, just very good at the moment. It's like against Orcus you just bait IP. It's fine, and mostly you try to bait IP with your other cards and Mind Control afterwards, so you can easily go for Appaloosa and kill them. Because with Appaloosa you can just negate their Gizmek or Skeleton, whatever. Yeah, and it's great against every other deck, obviously.
Did you consider playing other going second spells like Call by the Grave or Chalice?
I did consider playing Chalice, and like I thought this is just better than Chalice, honestly.
Yeah.
Because you get more monsters. It's better against Rogue. And I thought about, like, I didn't think about Call by the Grave because I don't think hand traps are that scary for the deck. Like, the only scary thing is Ash if your hand is bad, but that's it, basically. Yeah, I thought about playing Super Poly, but I didn't have the space, and I think I'm playing Strikers. Those are just like more versatile than any other removal cards at the moment, because in insane hands, obviously you get to draw with Engage, but it's not necessary for them to be good. You can just go for drones, get one extra monster, and add Afterburner or Anchor afterwards to out their board, whatever they are playing. And Jamming Waves is in the side deck, so against backrow decks. So it's just the most versatile removal that also gives your monsters a little bit like Vishuda. Vishuda used to be in Orcus. And it's just great to anchor. Like I cleared their board, summoned Appaloosa, and said Anchor take a lot. Yeah, because it's very strong against Orcus after turn 1. You can just solo for Galatea, Anchor take the Galatea, and yeah, next turn you kill them with your follow-up.
Have you tried Shark Cannon or Jamming Wave as an additional target?
I'm citing Jamming Waves. I don't think you need Jamming Waves against any meta deck, except against Salad it's good. I side out this for Jamming Wave against Salad, but in general you don't need it against meta decks because Orcus rarely sets cards, and even if they set cards, you don't want to get rid of the sets, you want to get rid of the monsters, because outing sets is pretty easy with Phoenix and Lavinia. And also Shark Cannon could have been fine, but I don't think you need it because you don't want to banish your follow-up. You'd rather just take their monster and kill them, or go for Appaloosa that just negates their follow-up. Like, it would have been fine 1 or 2 times, but I don't think it's worth playing because it's a really bad draw, while this is still just bait for anything if you draw them. Yeah, 40 cards. Then for the extra deck, 3 Colossus. You still need 3 Colossus in this kind of deck because you're still playing with your Thunders a lot. 2 Titan. 1 would have also been enough, but you have a lot of space so you can play 2. Yeah, you're not making Titan at all. You just make it against backrow decks with OG, because against Orcus it's chain blocked, and like it's chain blocked at any time anyway. Then for the Ling, for the Exceed 1 Link Gears, so for Mind Control on Galatea, and also 2 level 8s, you just overlay. Like, for example, you can just send Babel, like, declare it, he has to chain all his Orcus, and then you just summon Lavinia or anything, pop his whole field, and yeah, go off. And you don't need other rank 8s, because Salamangreat is your best matchup probably, so you don't need number 68. Yeah. And Harbinger is only good against Striker, and also Striker is very, very good matchup. And for the links, 1 Borderlord Dragon. Yeah, just against Mirror and yeah, it's basically Mirror and against Salamangreat on Dweller. Appaloosa, I made this probably the most out of extra deck cards, like, because you always want to out your opponent's field, go for Appaloosa, and then try to OTK. Or because you can just Unicorn, and afterwards just with Unicorn and 1 summon you go for Appaloosa, because you don't need it to have 4 counters or anything, because you just want to avoid getting a B-root, or your opponent using Skeleton, or your opponent using Gizmek to stop the OTK. Yeah, going first, you can also, if your opponent lets you start, it's fine, because if your hand is good, you can still go for like something like Appaloosa, IP, Colossus, and even with bad hands, you should always be able to summon IP. Like, yeah. Then 2 Unicorns, 2 IP. You have a lot of space, and
what are those?
Okay, yeah. 2 Unicorn, 2 IP. You actually, so yeah, this is just good as a generic link too, because you can just summon it and make your monster not be destroyable. I actually summoned Appaloosa using this once, and my opponent engaged for Afterburner and activated on Appaloosa, and yeah, well, he lost that. And also your opponent won't expect it, so if you summon this as generic link 2, link with it, your opponent won't play around the second IP as a potential interruption. Also the second Unicorn, because you do it a lot on your turn, out something, go for Appaloosa, and then sometimes you have to summon IP for your opponent's turn, so you need a second Unicorn. Yep. Then 1 Nightmare Phoenix, obviously against backrow decks. You could play a second one, but yeah, I don't think it's really needed. 1 Lambda if you have to make a generic link 2 using link monster, like Kagari happens sometimes. I mainly went with Kagari. I mainly went in Unicorn, or summoned Kagari under Unicorn to go for Appaloosa. But yeah, and the 1 Kagari. The good thing about the Strikers is it also unbricks your hands, like, because if you have engage or drones, you can just drones. Yeah, Kagari drones again, and then for example, some raw dark, doesn't matter. Tribute some and then you go for IP, get the other one and you still have IP for your opponent's turn. Or you just go into Unicorn if you go in second.
Have you tried Heater because you're playing Kalgari and also Mind Control?
Heater would only come up against Salamangreat, and Salamangreat is your best. Like, it's so easy with this deck.
Yeah.
Like just Thunders is very good against Salamangreat, but you also have Levianeers. Such an easy access to Borrowload. And just Mind Control is insane, Phantasma is insane, Strikers are very good against it, so you really don't need it. And would have never come up, I think. Then for the side deck, 3 Lancia. Usually I wouldn't play 3 Lancia, but like I don't think Lancias are very good in general, except for decks like this or Salamangreat, because in Salamangreat you can Lancia the opponent and then dwell him afterwards, so you don't have to draw a second Lancia. And in this deck you can Lancia him, and on your turn you can like if you don't have a second Lancia, you can just you're not able to kill them, which is very rare. You can just Levianeer it back. Yeah, you can banish 3 lights like OG Hawk to summon it back, so you have it for your opponent's turn.
Also, Appaloosa just prevents all their grave effects.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, so you can just kill them, go for Appaloosa, go for Levianeer. You should be able to do that almost every time. Yep. Then 3 Dark Ruler no more, because this deck is mainly for Thunder Rings and Pendulum. Like, Pendulum isn't that bad with the deck, because you play a lot to break the board. Every Striker card, every Mind Control, Levianeer, everything. But this makes it just easier, because you just activate this, clear everything, shuffle the back their hand, and it's over. But mainly for the mirror match, because the Striker cards are very bad in the mirror, except for Widow Anchor. But yeah, you just side, like, you keep this and Widow Anchor in and side those out in the mirror match. So you need something to side in, like next to Lancia. And this is just probably the best card, because it doesn't matter what your opponent opens, you just activate this, clear the board, and go for a huge board. Then 3 Twin against back row. It's mainly because of mine, because I don't think you even need Twin for back row decks, honestly, but you need it against Mystic Mine, because you're not playing outs otherwise. You're playing Afterburners, but yeah. You could think about cutting Twin Twisters. Then 2 System Down for pure, like for any Orcus variant if you go second. Yeah, it's just the best card against Orcus, honestly, together with Lancia. Only 2, because you can't sort out that many cards, because I'm usually setting out Mind Controls after game 1. And Solas. Like if I expect them to go for Galatea with just Crescendo set, I usually side out Solar, because it sucks against Crescendo. And then keep in Mind Controls because it baits Crescendo more easily. Then 1 Jamming Waves just to search it. I only sided against the Salad ones. Yeah, and the 3 different dimension grounds. I said this was mainly for Salamangreat. If you're not sure if your opponent will let you start, or because if you win the die roll, you let them start. Your opponent might think about letting you start, so you can side this in, because it's not that bad going second, but it's very good against very good going first. It just ends the turn. You could think about playing artifacts instead, but you draw a lot in this deck, so I don't really like that. And yeah, I also decided to go first once, because if you watch your opponent's side, you can just expect what they do mostly, like in game 3. Yeah, this is just the best card if you expect them to let you start. Yeah.
So, do you have any shoutouts at the end?
Shoutouts to everyone who said the deck is terrible. Shoutouts to Gun. Shoutouts to Livin, and shoutouts to email games, obviously, and our sponsor, Card Market.
Yeah, and check us out on all social media, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and thank you guys for watching.